Hello, everyone, and welcome in to the Outside Story right here on the Six Greens Telenetwork. And we have Fran and Joe. Well, they're somewhat new out of the Watchtower. They've been out now going on a couple of years, not quite that. I think it'll be 2 years in December, January. But, they're active. They're very active. They really are trying to do everything they can to help people who are caught in this cult. So tonight they got an interesting subject. They're asking for all of you people who are having doubts to do research, and that will dispel many of your doubts. So that's going to be the theme of the program tonight. So let's bring Fran and Joe on right now. They're coming out of New York. So let's bring them on. Hello, Fran and Joe.
Hello, Rick, and hello, everyone else.
So there we are. We got you nice and loud and clear. We got you coming in good. So looking forward to the program. I'll tell you what, we've had a lot of people come through here tonight. More and more people are connecting. It's unbelievable. So there you go. There's your pin, ex-Jehovah's Witness. Oh yeah, I got my little pin over there too. I should have had it on tonight. I should have put it on for you. I'll put it on next week. Thank you. All right. So I'm gonna cut out of here. I'll let you guys do your thing, but I'm here if you need me. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good to see everyone, hear everyone.
Yes.
I know we were going to talk about the research dispels doubt, but just before we get into that, because Joe wanted to talk about that, we were just going to talk about our meetups. And our goal from the beginning was to find local ex-JWs, PMOs, and it's been taking a long time. Like Rick said, it'll be 2 years in December. So anyway, we are finding them. And 2 weeks ago, we had our first meetup with 4, plus Joe and I, that made 6. This week, we had 8, plus Joe and I, so that made 10. So we doubled it from 2 weeks ago. And it's interesting because a lot of these people we knew when we were witnesses, they were witnesses, and we finally found each other. And it's been really positive energy. Just to really couple quick quotes, because we have them sign our book when they come. And Lisa said, "Thank you for bringing such a great group of people together. Keep up the good work." Lisa and our family were really good friends about 15 years ago, and then she got disfellowshipped or disassociated herself. So we didn't see Lisa anymore. Didn't know. Lost track of Lisa. But thanks to Facebook and everything, we got in touch with her, and she's really been a great support for our meetups. And Lisa connected us with Andrea. And we also knew Andrea, and Andrea's been out for 13 years, and she went through some difficult times. But she said that these meetups for her are really healing. And she's got a big, 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 big family of Jehovah's Witnesses, so she really appreciates the support. And this week, Andrea brought Mandy. And Mandy is a principal at a nearby school. I think it's a middle school. And she was just so excited when she got here. She goes, "I'm so glad you guys are doing this." And she was out since she was 17 years old. So I don't know how old she is now. But anyway, it's been a while.
An interesting connection.
Yes.
Who Mandy knows.
Yeah. So Mandy, the principal, knows of a really good friend of ours when we were in. Her daughter has been reconnecting with us, and her daughter is a teacher at the same school, and that's her principal. Mandy is her principal. So Mary's been telling Mandy, "Oh, you got to meet Joe and Fran." And so it's so
For
funny.
years.
Yeah,
For years.
because she knew that we were out. And so now Mandy gets to meet us, and Mary didn't even know that Mandy was meeting us. So it's really domino effect. It's really
It's very good. It really is good. It's taken time. It's taken this is almost 2 years, but we're finding people. people are finding each other, and that's the biggest thing.
So we really promote meetups. I mean, it's nice when you can do it on Zoom, but it's so much better in person,
Oh yeah.
whether it's one or two people or a group of people. And tonight we were just wondering if there's anyone out there near Humble, Texas, which is
Humboldt.
Humble,
Hum,
Humble,
humble,
Texas. That's where our friend Gail is from. Gail White, that had her own show. It's near Houston, and she was wondering. She says, "I don't know anybody out here. I wish I could have meetups."
Yeah, looking for someone near Humble, Texas, and Lisa, Gail is in
Humble.
Gail.
Yeah.
She is in Humble.
Yeah, which is near Houston.
Okay, near Houston.
Yeah.
Good.
And then we have someone in Mexico, the country of Mexico. One day we get a call and it's Mexico. We have a Mexico, New York, but it said Mexico. And she was from the country of Mexico. I'm going to spell it. I don't know how to say it. Queretaro. How would you say that?
Querétaro?
Querétaro.
I'm Italian.
If there's anyone near Querétaro, Mexico, there's a couple, husband and wife, that would like to meet some ex-JWs and meet up. They're 3 hours from Mexico City. I think she said 3 hours from Mexico City. How about Summit, Mississippi? Anyone near Summit, Mississippi? We have a sister out there. Kind of a sad story. Her husband passed away at the same time she was leaving the organization, so that was really, really, really hard for her. She has some family that is still in, so she has to keep her identity confidential, which we respect. But Summit, Mississippi, if there's anyone near there, you can contact us. Again, our email is JANDFGUERINO@gmail.com. So it's jandfgarino@gmail.com. So anyone else looking for someone to meet up with, you can speak up if
Yeah,
you
let
want
us
to.
know where you are, and maybe there's each other right on now that can connect too. So this is a time for that. This is a time where ones can connect with each other. It's so helpful, so beneficial. We started out with just a few, and now you have how many would you say?
Oh my goodness. Oh, altogether, you mean? Or,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, at least 150.
Yeah.
This is, not just our area, but
No,
the
all over the
country,
United States, and in
as
fact
well
around the
as,
world
yeah,
too,
we have
actually.
some, yep, Australia, Great
And
Britain.
eventually what we'd like to do is come up with a directory
Yes.
of friends, ex-witnesses, so that we can stay connected with each other. We hope to do this sometime. And it'll be with your help. So call in or let us know if you're looking for someone either in your area or looking to connect with someone outside your area, anywhere. There's many who'd like to.
Okay, so we already have some responses here. Miss Mendiful says hello from Montana, and Tammy G says hello. Vern from Fixing My Faith says, "Evening, everyone." I guess he's trying to get his VoIP phone so that he can call in from Canada, where he is.
Doing a great job.
It's long distance, so we're a big shout out to Vern.
Yeah.
Aurora Jones says, "Hola" from Cotero, Mexico.
Uh-huh.
So there's Aurora Jones. If you want to meet up with our contact, just let us know. We'll see how we can do that. She likes to use WhatsApp because that's easier from Mexico. Anyone?
Fran and Joe?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, this is Stefan. How are you guys tonight?
Good. How are
Hi,
you, Stefan?
Good. Just wanted to call in and say hello, join the program. Also, I am in Illinois, and I would definitely love to connect with anybody that's in Illinois or maybe even Northwest Indiana.
Great.
What,
Great.
what's the closest city to you, Stefan?
Well, Chicago's close, and Indiana's also close. At least Northwest Indiana is also close. So, Chicago and whatever the Northwest Indiana cities are, like Hammond and Gary and East Chicago and all those kinds of places.
Gary, Indiana, East
So
Chicago.
anyone listening now close?
Yeah, Stefan would like to meet up. Meetups are wonderful.
Yeah.
You can meet in a park. You can go to a coffee shop.
Whatever works
we
for you.
have it at our house. We've got a nice big outdoor area. It's been working out. The weather's been beautiful, and everybody can bring something, or you can just go for coffee. But the purpose is to meet up. It's just so encouraging.
Yeah. Yeah, as much as the trauma, the continued trauma for people that are in that you've just been talking about, the connection that friends make after they're out, it dispels that trauma. It really does. It shares it, and we watch it. We watch that take place. It's special. It really is. And you literally need to be. I mean, phone helps. Phone connection really does help, but in person there's no comparison. We need each other for that, and it's worth all the effort.
Yeah, Stefan, if you can email us with your address, we have our address books. We have one address book that's alphabetical by name, and then we have another address book that says shop info, but it's really for by state, because sometimes I'll remember a person's state, but I forget their name. And this is our directory that we're coming up with. We actually have an ex-JW directory. Thank you. Rick just put our email up there and our phone number. You can either text us, call us, or email us. Thank you, Rick, for putting that up.
Okay, will do. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Oh,
Stefan.
you too, Stefan. You take care.
We'll find someone,
Yep,
I know.
yep.
You too.
Anyone else?
Hey, Joe and friends, how y'all doing?
Good. Is this Debbie?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Hi,
I-
Debbie.
Debbie
How are
from
you?
Nebraska.
I would love to have a meetup. I'm kind of by myself in the area as far as any ex-JW or any JWs. I don't know anybody around here, but
Not found anyone in your area yet.
Okay. Debbie's in North Platte.
it's on the west side of Nebraska,
The west side.
4 hours from Denver. And I'm on the complete opposite side from Omaha and Lincoln. I'm nowhere near there. So if anybody would like to have a meetup, I would love to meet up with some people. I thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, Debbie's in North Platte, Nebraska. We actually got to meet Debbie in person. It was wonderful. We had such a good time. And we traveled that morning. We left Denver and we traveled to North Platte and we got there for lunch. So anybody, if you don't mind a little bit of traveling,
Yeah.
but you never know, someone might be close by to North Platte, Nebraska for Debbie.
So we'll
And
keep
I
that.
can't to go anywhere. I don't have transportation, and I can ride the bus here in town. I have an electric wheelchair, so I really can't drive or ride anything except the bus because it has a lift on it. Or if somebody could come by and pick me up, I could go in a manual wheelchair. I just need help doing all that.
Okay. Well, it's good to know because that way we can plan for that. So that's good. It's good you shared all those details, Deb.
And one little interesting note about North Platte, Nebraska. What did we have in North Platte, Nebraska?
The most famous foods in Nebraska. Does anyone else know what the most famous food in Nebraska is?
Besides Debbie.
Just don't answer, Debbie. Nebraska,
Anybody
favorite
from
food.
Nebraska?
We learned this. We learned this when we were there.
We had it. We bought it. We shared it with Debbie, and then I came home and I made some, and we brought it to Massachusetts when we went to visit.
We're really
our friends in
spreading around
Massachusetts.
culture.
Anyone out there know the favorite fast food of Nebraska? You can Google it if you want to.
Yeah,
cheat.
maybe, and we'll mention it before the end of our program. We're not going to say it now, so maybe someone else can come up with it too. So leave some
Yeah, you can Google
suspense here.
it. Okay,
Most
good.
famous food in Nebraska. Well, at any rate, where are we at now?
Okay.
Does anyone else
Anyone
want
else?
to call in or
Who
to
else
state
wants to get a
anything
meet
before
up?
we, meet up or?
Fran?
Yes.
Hello, Eric. Hello?
Yeah, it's Eric. How you guys doing?
Good. How are
Good,
you?
Eric.
I'm doing good, thanks. I thought I would throw it out there that if anybody is in the Hendersonville area of Tennessee, somewhere around that area, and they want to get a hold of me, either through you or I can give my email. But to do like I would love to do what Rick does and protest outside of a say convention or the memorial or something. I just can't do it alone. So if anybody in that area of Tennessee, or if even if one of us travels to each other a little bit, I don't mind. I would help. I would help most of the work, and or at least guide it, and probably get a sign from Rick. But if anybody would be willing to do that with me, because it's just too hard to do alone. But I would totally would be on the front lines, you know.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Eric, you're in Gallatin. It's near Nashville. If anybody is near the Nashville area, that would be fun. We met up with Eric and Desiree when we were out there, and that would be a great idea, Eric, to do a protest.
Yeah. No, in fact, we're thinking about doing that.
Out there would be willing. Sorry.
Oh no, no, we're going to think to do that just from what we've heard tonight, just at our train station, just as a little informational demonstration, not nothing adversarial, but just informational, because the witnesses do set up there at the train station. So we're going to do that, but it'll be two people. But we'll keep
you guys about the girl from Canada, or lady from Canada. It does the sticker work too, because I do that as well. And they've been tearing it down more aggressively when I put it up where they set up their cartwork, and I keep putting them back up.
Oh, the stickers. Yes.
Stickers. They're getting more aggressive with it, but to me, it does do a difference. You know, it's because Watchtower used repetition to brainwash us.
We have to do the same thing.
I don't want to brainwash people, but if they keep hearing that Jehovah's Witnesses protect pedophiles, and well, why do people keep saying this? You know, I feel like that's something that it has to offer. And the Rick was saying, the protest does help, does work.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, Eric, for you and Debbie and us and everyone, the biggest goal at this point is to find out what other X's are right around us. That has to be the first objective. And we're just going to offer what we do, and I want to see if anyone else, what others do. One of the things we do is we wear this wherever we go. We wear our ex-JW pins wherever we go, right on our person. The other thing we do is we give everybody a postcard. Everyone who comes in our shops, as well as people that we meet out in business or pleasure or whatever. We engage them in conversation a little, and then we leave them with the postcard, and plus you send out how many usually a week?
I try to send out like 20 to 25, but we hand out more than we
And we
send out.
hand out many.
And I
So,
would some money for them.
I'm sorry?
Is it possible to get a couple pins from you guys? I would pay you for them.
Oh, the pins?
Yeah, we'll get you some pins.
Absolutely. And we'll send you some postcards,
Pins
Eric.
and postcards, Eric.
And anyone else want some
What
postcards?
you or I'll try to return the favor.
Don't you worry
No.
about it.
Anyone else want pins or postcards? Just email us or text us.
Yeah. See, because the goal, again, the objective, we need to find out who is around us. And it's kind of challenging because most PMOs just don't want to be so obvious and visible about it for obvious reasons. You know, they don't want to start getting shunned before anything happens. You know, one wrong breath on their part, and they're probably going to get shunned even before anything else, any action's taken. So we understand. But just through the casual interaction, talking with people, we ask them, do you know any witnesses? And 90% of the time people say no, but the other 10%, they know someone. And that really works, starts working things. So it's very positive to do that.
Eric, I don't know if you're following the live chat, but Linda Lawton said that she's south of Nashville and she would be happy to protest with her. She's right in the chat.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool.
All right.
If I can give my email over your show, is that okay?
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
If she wants to contact me, it's Eric, E-R-I-K, Kubler. It's all one word. C is in cat, U, B is in boy, L-E-R, 1981 at Gmail.
Great.
I can repeat that. It's Eric Kubler, E-R-I-K, C-U-B-L-E-R, 1981 at gmail.com.
Right?
Got it.
Good.
Okay,
Thank you.
great, Eric. Good. I hope
Very
that
good.
connection, very good. This is what we're all about, is
Yeah.
making connections.
Yeah. Great. And you'll be getting some pins and cards, Eric.
Yes, we'll send them out Monday.
Thanks, guys. You rock. I love you both.
We
You
love you
too.
too. And Desiree, say hi to Desiree. Hugs and kisses.
Be experiencing temporary audio issues. Our teams are working to resolve this as quickly as possible.
No audio issue here.
No audio issue here. Can everyone hear us?
We're doing fine, but I believe what's happening is because of the weather out on the West Coast.
Oh,
But we're fine so far. So some of the
Wow.
network phone line are going down. So, but we're still up. Yep.
okay.
Okay, thank you, Rick.
Yeah, just in case people aren't aware, the West Coast is apparently going to receive a pretty heavy hurricane, and they're watching it very closely right now. So we'll be watching that too. Friends are out there. We visited quite a few friends when we were out there,
Yes.
Southern California.
Yeah. Yeah. So we hope everyone will be safe.
Yeah.
There's a Durham Lee listening in from, I'm going to just spell this, Oglala, Nebraska.
Oglala.
Ogallala.
Ogallala. I think.
Ogallala.
Ogallala.
Debbie, if that's near you, that's Durham Lee.
That's close to me.
What's that?
It's close to me. This is Debbie.
Ogallala. Okay. Well, there's Durham Lee. She's on the chat. You can talk with her on the chat.
Is that YouTube chat?
We're right on the
Right
live
on-
chat,
right
right
on
on
the
the
live.
program.
Yep. Are you on the live chat, Debbie?
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Oh, you're
You're
welcome.
welcome.
All right. We're really making connections tonight.
Yeah, it's great.
Anyone else out there?
Anyone else had any success or techniques or suggestions as to how to find other friends in the area? If you do, let us know.
Facebook is great because I don't know, it takes time, but you can find them. And then one person knows somebody else.
Yeah.
And we would have had more Thursday, but someone was going to a concert. There was a concert in the area. I think 2 people were going to go to the concert.
Good for them.
And someone else is out of the country, but they'll come. So yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger.
And all this is to start living their outside life, as opposed to, well, being inside. And it's kind of challenging when a person steps outside and chooses to. Then maybe we feel that first rush of fear, and maybe excitement and doing new things. But then sometimes it's easy to have lingering doubts, questions, and it could be anything. Questions of, well, what do I still believe? Or, but do I still have to worry about such and such, like Armageddon? Or what else?
That's a good one. We met someone. She lives down in Florida, and even though she's in her 50s and she has been out since she was in her early 20s, she said she has these lingering thoughts about Armageddon, and she knows it's not the truth, but yet there's that fear because you're instilled with that since a child. And what if Armageddon comes and I'm not good with Jehovah, or I'm not in the organization? So what do we do at that point?
Well, I mean, at that point, we need to do a research. And let's say someone said, "Oh, I heard this," or "I heard it's this true," or "this isn't true." Well, that's very nice. You heard it, but you may not believe it unless you've read it and researched it yourself. Unfortunately, the society made people very lazy, um, because they told them that the only research they need to do is in their publications, either the Bible or the bound volumes or the whatever books that they published. And frankly, those are the lies that they dispense. And unfortunately, a person can get very emotionally connected to that stuff. And just because we walk away from them doesn't mean we don't still believe in them. Doesn't mean they don't still hold control over our thoughts and our fears. So if the society went out of its way to continually inculcate, that's the word they always like to use, inculcate in our minds those ideas, we've got to do the same. We have to do the same. We have to go out of our way and expose ourselves to the information that's out there. And there's so much good information. There really is. Now, so how do you know what information? I mean, we really don't know until you start considering it and then, well, feeling what it does for you and continuing to seek more and talk with other people as well. Expose yourself to others. See, and that goes against everything that you might have learned when you were in, especially if you were born in. You were taught that people in the world all lie, but now you're starting to realize that the only ones that were lying was the watchtower. But now you're starting to form trust relationships with people outside. And that's a challenge. You're going to have to do that. You need to do that. Because if you don't do that, you're just going to put yourself in tremendous conflict. You're going to leave yourself out in the middle. And unfortunately, what some people have done, some have failed to do the research, failed to develop trust relationships outside, and and chose to go back to the organization because that was their trust, that was their basis, and they failed to develop a new set of reliance. And the information is out there. It really is a tremendous amount of information out there. If any of you want to share whatever, go ahead.
Before someone got, yeah, I was just going to say, when we were first coming out, I know you went to the internet, and the first one that you watched a YouTube video,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Falling Towers.
Yes,
Because
that's
you
it.
said he was an
Correct.
ex elder, ex
Yeah,
pioneer,
yeah,
and
Falling
that
Towers.
caught your attention.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. There was.
What's his name?
I think it's Matt, but I'm
Matt.
not sure.
I think
who.
so. I think it's Matt.
There's
Falling Towers.
there's so many great friends that are out there that are doing this. It's a journey. They're on a journey. You're on a journey. You need to be on a journey now. If you're not on a journey, you're not going to get anywhere. And that's the point. You need to start going somewhere on your outside life. It's your life. It's yours. It's not the society's. You don't owe them anything. You owe yourself that responsibility and accountability. You're accountable to yourself. And it's a good thing because you're able to do that, especially now with so much information that's available. There was a time when all this information was not available. It really wasn't. When we were first in, well, we weren't
1985. There was nothing.
aware of it.
We
At
didn't
least
know. We
there was
were
probably some out there online. Some
right.
there probably was, but
Yeah.
we just weren't.
Well, there wasn't the internet back in 1985. That didn't come out till later. But even
Okay.
books, we didn't
Mhm.
know of any. They
Mhm.
were out there.
Yeah.
But and that's when Ray Franz first came out. But I was going to say so Joe is more of a YouTuber and checking out the internet. I'm more of a book person. I like to read books, so I just started. The very first one that I read is Leaving the Witness by Amber Scora. And I think Rick may have interviewed her, I'm not sure. But this caught my attention because it took place in China, and both of our sons and daughter-in-law were in China, so
Yeah.
I could identify with this. But every time I had the book out, I had to hide it because that's when our daughter was still coming over. We were PMO, and I was deathly afraid
Yeah.
of her finding
It was
this.
terrible.
Now, here you are, parents
Yeah.
hiding from their children. Usually it's the other way around. You know, teenagers, kids hiding things from their parents.
Yeah.
It was a really strange feeling. I can't tell you how strange it was.
And my attitude about that was, why am I so concerned about someone who controlling my reading material? No one ever controlled my reading material. And I almost taught myself to read when I was young. I had the help of my uncle.
He was an English
He was an
teacher.
English teacher. He always corrected me, so that was helpful. But I found that I could start learning to read when riding on the thruway with all the billboards, and the people there, relatives who were ever with me, were really helpful in pointing out how to read. So that was good. But at any rate, from an early age, I just was a book person, and I read everything. And here, had to worry about now what I was reading. And I thought that was so objectionable. I said, this is not going to continue. I'm through with this. And we we subjected ourselves to that for 36 years. We weren't born in.
No.
So at any rate, some changes had to be made.
So one day our daughter came over and I had all the books hidden, but Joe had his iPad open and it was something ex-Jehovah's Witness couple. I can't even remember what it is. And my daughter was sitting in Joe's seat and I was sitting here, and she looked down at it and I could tell her eyes opened up. And then she looked at me, and all I did was go just like this, put my hands up, and hey, what am I going to do? So from that point on, she knew that we were reading
And I'm
and,
not,
and looking up.
and I don't want to minimize how
And so we know
difficult.
how it is.
I
We
don't
know
want to
how it
minimize
is
how
when
difficult
it's
that
when
was
you're first coming
because
out.
it put her through a tremendous amount of stress
It was.
and conflict.
Yeah.
But there was no two ways about it. There's absolutely no two ways about it. Taking a stand for what's right will be challenging. It will tend to divide people. It's not the goal, but the goal is to start rectifying things, straightening things out. And that's what we started to do. And it was through research. And so the, the more I was exposing myself to, the more I needed to expose myself to, just to confirm and verify and be sure, and to, interact, talk with other people. It was a process. It was a whole process, um, and
Yeah.
and that's and it takes time. But if you don't do it, you're just going to be plagued with doubts all over the place.
Yeah, I'm just getting to the point now. I got the book, Crisis of Conscious by Ray Franz. I'm just in the beginning of it. It takes time because there's a lot of
And incidentally, if you don't want to get the
judicial
books,
stuff.
you can get the book. You can read it online.
Yes,
You
you can.
Let's say, oh, I don't want to read the book. Okay, go on YouTube, look up Crisis of Conscience, Ray Franz, and you'll see his interview.
Mhm.
You'll see the man talking, and he's relating, which is a very powerful thing because you get the human factor there, and so many others who are opening things up. This is an exciting time because it's all there. It's for you. It's for us, and it's for your freedom. And ultimately, it's for you helping others who are trying to get out as well. Because there's so many others that are trying to get out. And again, we're looking for them, and we're also want to meet them with information too that they're going to know because they're going to have to
Mhm.
start that journey.
Yeah. Elaine Brain Drain said that the ARC and nervous breakdown woke me up in 2017, and I believe that
Yeah,
because
awesome.
it just takes your world apart. If you were born in and you see that, you hear about it. I know
No.
it did us.
Oh no,
and
I
we
saw
weren't even
that.
born in.
I saw that, and I saw the interview that Jackson gave, and I said, "That's it. We're over." Fran came home from a day of
A
service,
whole day of service, long day of
and I
service.
immediately asked her, "Are we sending the society any money? Do we over either the
We were doing it
by
online.
banking online or whatever?"
I said, yes, we
Are
are.
you sure?
I said, yes, we are.
I said, make sure we do not.
Stop it immediately. So he had me stop it
Yeah.
immediately, and we did.
Yeah.
And then he wanted me to watch some of the YouTube ex-JWs he was watching, and I put my hand up and I said, I don't want to see it because I knew, in the back of my mind, I knew that that's it. Our family, we're going to lose our family. And he said, what did you say?
I said, if you don't check out the information, it won't go well for us. I just knew that. I mean, from everything that I was finding out, how it stressed out couples.
Yeah.
Because of that, it just blew couples apart.
Yeah. So that night was not a good night. It ended up in an argument, but the next day I said, you know what? I said, it's not worth it. My marriage is more important than that organization getting in the way of our marriage. I will look at it.
And this is
So
where
that was the next day.
and this is where it separates people. It clarifies who you really are. See, and that's talks about the issue of the society that they spoke about previously. Rick and someone was talking about how they're trying to get rid of people, and they are. They want to eliminate people that aren't individuals that that aren't loyal
Mm-hmm.
to the organization.
Yeah, they don't want
They
people
don't want
like us.
they don't want these PMOs in. They don't want any and they know there's a lot of PMOs in their organization. And they know there's a lot of Bethelites who are leaking so much information to Rick and to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
They know that. And the sooner they can get them out, the better. And frankly, the sooner the person gets out, the better for themselves, for their own health.
Yeah.
The longer anyone's in that organization, the more they're going to suffer, and it's not. And it takes time to get over it too. Everyone needs to be very careful about developing their exit strategy.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be a plan of leaving and making it so that you know you've left and they know you've left. But it has to be on your terms.
Mm-hmm.
Your terms.
Yeah. We were just wondering, anyone out there, what research you did or you like to do? And we've got maybe 45 minutes. So if everybody gives everybody a turn, and maybe you can even end your um, experience with asking if there's anyone else out there that wants to.
Yeah. Speak a few minutes and then invite someone else if they want. That way
So,
we can all
yeah.
benefit from each other's experience.
Yeah. So the lines are open. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Good evening, Joe.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
We're all ears.
Hello.
It's Heather.
Hello.
Hello. It's
Yes.
Heather speaking.
Heather. Hi, Heather.
Yes. Hi. I wanted to tell you that the thing that woke me up was last year only. I've been in the truth my whole life. But last year, my husband wanted to show me Barbara Anderson's interview with ex-JWs.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched that, and I couldn't believe it. I said, no, this is not possible. There cannot be CSA in the witness organization. But yes, I learned, as many people are saying, I watched ARC. I watched so many things after that. I read Crisis of Conscience.
Yeah.
I made a mix of reading In Search of Christian Freedom. And I read Gary Alt's book. I think I told you that. It was very good. I told Gary so many different things too. But once I saw the CSA, I had no doubt. No, if they can prove this, there must be a lot of other things that are to be questioned.
Exactly. Right.
Hey, Heather. Heather, you want to tell everyone where you're from? Heather?
Well, I'm originally from Canada, but I've been living in Mexico since 2011, serving supposedly where the need is great in English and French congregations, and then we were in Spanish. But I was brought up as a witness. My maternal grandmother started to study with the witnesses when she said to the witnesses, okay, if you can explain to me what's going on in the book of Revelation, I'll study with you. So, of course, the witnesses were able to tell her a lot of what's their interpretation, of course, what's going on in the book of Revelation. And my grandmother then visited my mother. I was like 6 years old at the time. My grandmother visited my mother and gave her the book, Let God Be True. And then my mother started to study and my father started to study. And so it was. We were raised as witnesses.
And you told me your age. Do you want to tell your age?
Why not? I'm 75.
75, and you just found out a year ago that it's not the truth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
from
that's
6 years
beautiful.
old.
It's. I'm very happy about it to know the truth about the truth. I don't feel bad. I don't feel like I wasted those years because I thought it was the truth. I thought it was doing the right thing. I thought I was believing the Bible. But when you learn that that's not the case, then you just feel good because you have freedom now. You can decide what you're going to believe, which isn't easy. It isn't easy at first because you question every single thing. I was watching Fear to Freedom. I like his channel. And he was saying 3 questions that every Jehovah's Witness, ex-Jehovah's Witness has to answer. Is our Jehovah's Witnesses the true religion? Is the Bible an inspired word of God? And does God exist? Well, I don't think I've discovered the answers to those yet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's beautiful that you allowed yourself to continue to learn. You really did. Some people don't want to do that. They don't have the courage. They don't have that desire for truth. It's commendable.
Yeah, truth
Yes,
was
so-
always important to me. So I guess that's why, when I found out it wasn't, I was like, oh my goodness, what has happened to me all these years? But, I've always been of the opinion, you can't change the past. That's gone, that's done with. Why worry about it? But you can change the future. And I've been doing what Joe and Fran, or you guys, I've been doing what you suggested. Is talking to everybody we meet when we ask them, of course in Spanish, if we're here in Mexico, but we ask them, do you know any Jehovah's Witnesses? It's surprising the number of people. Probably there's more witnesses in Mexico than a lot of other places.
Wow.
But usually they know somebody. And then we can start to talk to them. Did you know that Jehovah's Witnesses approve child sexual abuse and we do nothing about it, and we don't report it to the authorities? And people are so shocked that they had no idea that that kind of thing went on in Jehovah's Witnesses. So it's one way to try to prevent other people from getting into the organization and perhaps causing Jehovah's Witnesses to ask them questions.
Yes. Well, you think about it, you have to consider how much pain and suffering you're preventing those people from going through.
Exactly.
They could actually avoid all the problems that we see others having from having been in that organization. It's so good. It's so good.
Thank you for calling in,
Yes,
Heather.
Heather.
Heather,
That's what happens to you when you leave, because we've left. But I have 2 sons that are very, very much in the organization.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
get it.
Yeah.
My sons were in foreign language, pioneering, they're elders, and they found out that I don't want to be a witness anymore, and they don't want to have anything to do with me. So that really hurts. But what can you do?
Yeah.
I can't change that. I can just think that perhaps one day they'll wake up, and they won't be 75 at the time.
That's right. That's
Well,
right.
you're leading. You're showing them the way. You're showing them the way. You're the exactly what they would have to do, and that's powerful.
So if anyone's listening from Mexico and they would like to meet up with Heather and her husband, we have their information. Just email us and we'll give you Heather Heather's information. Thank you so much for
Yes,
calling in, Heather.
thank you, Heather.
You said you were going to try to call in. That was great.
Thank you.
Heather,
It was a pleasure to talk to you. Bye
And
now.
bye. Love you. Heather mentioned Gary Alt's book, Bethel Days, and we have a copy of that too. Gary sent it to us. Bethel Days, it talks about all his experience at Bethel and each of the governing body he personally either knew or had contact with. And it's got some funny parts to it. It's got some sad parts to it, but it's really a good book.
Yeah.
Bethel Days. Anyone else calling in?
any information that anyone has found out that has helped them greatly, or anything?
Research.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. My name is Larry Wayne from California, and the first thing that happened for me, I was taken to a committee meeting after being inactive for 13 years, and the unchristian, unloving, unmerciful way they dealt with me, that was the start of my awakening. But as far as things I learned, when I learned that they taught that Jesus Christ was not our mediator, and that's in the April 1st, 1979 Watchtower, page 31, questions from readers. And when I saw that for myself, I was so done with them.
Yeah.
Since then, I found out so many other things that they teach are lies, false teaching, especially the Armageddon doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
Armageddon probably doesn't happen until after the 1,000 years, so we don't have to worry about Armageddon. What we have to worry about is the Great Tribulation, which is two different things. The other thing I found out in my research is that they teach that the governing body is supposed to teach. Well, Hebrews 8, 1 through 11 clearly says, even in their Bible, that the ones in the new covenant, which the governing body claim to be in the new covenant, but it's Almighty God that says they will not teach. They will not teach their brother, and they will not teach their neighbor. So that just eliminates them totally.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you did your research, Larry.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Much more. I found actually more than 30 false teachings, but those are the main ones.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That's great. And so we need to do that. Each person needs to do that. Otherwise, they're going to be subject to those men.
Yeah, I was born and raised in that justification. I call it a justification because it was never the truth.
Yeah.
It was a justification.
Yeah.
So when I refer to them, I never say when I was in the truth. I say when I was in the justification.
Justification.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I have to always remind myself that all it is their interpretation of the Bible. That's all it is. Their creative interpretation. And so, I mean, even with any research that we do, someone else is going to come up with another interpretation. Just as they had a interpretation, others are going to have an interpretation, and it's up to us to really discern, what it means to us personally. And this is where they always stressed that we needed a personal relationship with our Creator. Well, if they really wanted us to have a personal relationship with our Creator, it wouldn't be by listening to them. So
personal relationship. That's true that they say you have to have a personal relationship with Almighty God, but how can you have a personal relationship without the mediator? Nobody can come to the Father except through the Son. It's clearly stated in the Bible. So you cannot have a relationship without going through Jesus Christ first, and that's the position, and that's the act of a mediator,
Yeah.
mediator, which they ignored the mediator.
Yeah.
So they're totally screwed up.
I know. Let the buyer beware. I mean, each of us individually is going to have to accept some responsibility for accepting what they offered. And I think therein lies the challenge as to whether or not we're going to be humble enough to accept the fact that we chose the wrong, we chose wrong, but we accepted what we shouldn't have accepted. And we all do that. We all make mistakes. But we don't all correct them. Because it's a challenge, you know. There has to be something overriding that matters more than our pride. And for many, it's that relationship that they're looking for. And I appreciate what you brought out there.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else want to call in? Talk about their research or? Hello?
So I don't know if everyone's aware that there's a chat going on the side. It's something you can comment in if you'd like, or see the comments of others.
Chicago Phil no longer lives in Chicago. He just moved to Denver. So when he gets all settled in, he may want to connect with some folks.
Just a question. Does everyone know that YouTube contains an awful lot of information for ex-JWs? Maybe some don't even use that. But what I would do is just invite you to just check out YouTube and just look up ex-JW, just for starters. ex-JW. Or Watchtower. Or Jehovah's Witnesses. Or any other questions that you might have, or any a doubt. If you have I doubt such and such, just Google that. Just key that in and see what comes up. And at some point, and this is where it's nice to have someone else to talk about it with. This is where you can connect with others. And what I would say is be ready for people to have different opinions. It's all right to have different opinions, and it's okay. You may find that some friends, even if when they're exes, continue to be, I guess you'd say, dogmatic. In other words, if they think they know the correction or the true understanding of something, they may try to get you to believe their belief. You have no responsibility to accept that. That's their belief. That's theirs. You get to develop yours, and both of you are going to continue to be exposed to information, and it's okay not to know. It's okay to say, well, I'm really not sure about that, and I don't know. Or, I don't need to know. And if someone makes you think, well, you need to know this, well, choose for yourself whether or not you need to know that. It's your point of view. It's your relationship. Groups of people. Oh, go ahead. Hello. Listening. Okay, I'll throw something else out. So what religion are you now? So have you found a new church? So do you still believe in God? Or are you an atheist now? Or what other questions did you come across with people?
About those.
Yeah,
Yeah, those.
yeah, yeah,
Have you lost your faith in God?
yeah.
You know, yeah, what church do you go to? Hello.
Yeah, John, Fran.
Hi.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Speaking. Yeah, hi. Just quickly, so a couple of questions. No, I don't believe in God, the Bible, but done a lot of research and just found where the witnesses were wrong on so many points. And also, I just find it useful because I do a lot of research on gym, health and nutrition, exercise, and I never listen to people that are dogmatic. The ones that are generally with better information will be open to a variety of answers because there's individuality, but also they won't tell you to necessarily believe them. And I do the same with religious doctrine. I'll listen to someone, but as soon as they're closed-minded, I don't consider it a good source of information. So I want to. A lot of people say, "Look, that's just my personal idea. I don't know for sure." And there are some things they can have a consensus on because they're backed by fact. But other things, it's just their idea, and so they don't try to be like the witnesses, where they try to come up with a like with their old Revelation books, they try to do a verse by verse analysis and all these ridiculous things. Well, this means this and this means that. It's like, why not say we can't understand? And also as well, the discussion should always be open. My same on COVID, on climate change, anything. When the discussion is only allowed to be one-sided and there's no room for opposing viewpoint, well, in my opinion, you've got problems. You have to have a discussion, and you can be willing to agree to disagree. And a lot of these people get on well, and they might not even, they don't even have to agree, But yeah, as far as being a member of a group, no, I'm not. I just practice Christianity in my own life.
Yeah.
I don't try to be part of a group. I'd but I'm kind of at work, so I'll leave it at that.
No, I appreciate that. I've come to I mean, through any of our experience, I've come to realize that unfortunately religions simply divide people. They divide people, and they seem to get people to learn how to hate rather than learn how to love. And I think that at this point, they've been the biggest tool of the governments. And now that's not to say that a religion doesn't benefit a person. It could very well benefit a person, and that's good if it does. But that's a very personal issue.
It is very personal.
Very personal issue, and I would respect them for that if it does that. But where the society kind of condemned themselves is when they promoted and pushed it and went out of their way to basically force others into their religion. Now at that point, it was making some serious problems in people's lives, and this is something we've all come to realize. And I really appreciate connecting with people who have gone through this. That's the nicest thing about Actually, it's the nicest thing about being in that organization is that when we're out, we're able to connect on a deeper level with people
Yeah,
than we ever
real
could.
people,
Yeah.
real genuine people.
Yeah.
You really are our friends.
Yeah.
Because we used to call people at the Kingdom Hall our friends.
Couldn't be.
And they're conditional.
Yeah, it
It's
couldn't
all
be friends.
conditional.
We were all working at being approved associates.
Yep. And so one way we like to look at it is we like to look for God in the person. Godlike qualities,
Yeah.
or what Jesus, the type of person Jesus would
Yeah,
be.
we give evidence of it.
And we live it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't just have to go to a church or a synagogue or wherever. And it's a person's choice. It's their personal choice. Whatever makes them feel good and makes them feel whole. But we look for God in people. It may sound strange, but that's what we do.
No, and frankly, on the other way around, we seek to show evidence of God through us if we want them to see that in us. And that's we see that connecting.
Yeah, we do.
We've had some very nice experiences with people because of that. And I expect to always have good experiences with people because people are like that.
Yes.
We totally reject the attitude about people in the world. It was such a horrible belief that people in the world couldn't be trusted. Horrible, terrible, terrible antisocial belief. It was hateful.
I was looking through the live chat, and Justin Time, his name is Justin Time, and he's 83 years old. Imagine 83 years old and getting out of that organization after having been in it. I'm looking for how many years.
How long were you in, Justin?
He's got it right here. You may not want to call in.
Well, you can.
But he's 83 years old. Okay, I'll find it. There's so many on the chat. That's wonderful to see. Everybody's having a part.
Looks like a party, and I'm not there.
Just in Time. My pseudonym is Just in Time, as I'm 83 this year. 46 years as an active JW.
Wow, my goodness.
My wife and I baptized in 1973. Wife is still in, but slowly seeing the truth about the truth.
So good.
Good for her. Good for you. And I'm being soft shunned by my son, who is age 60 years. Can you imagine a 60-year-old shunning his 83-year-old father? It's terrible. It's just horrible.
Yeah.
And our children are shunning us. We're 71. And just terrible. So we feel for you, Just in Time. Just in Time likes JW Facts. He said JW Facts is a good internet search.
Good. Good. JW Facts, highly recommended.
Yep. Was someone trying to get in?
What are some folks doing now that they weren't doing before? Something that you are glad for. What are you doing now on the outside you didn't do when you're on the inside? How about your Saturday mornings? How about your Sunday mornings?
We'll tell you what we did this morning. Joe and I woke up. We went to a farmer's market. We were looking for someone specific, but he wasn't there. But we ended up talking to some great people. We went to a thrift sale, and we handed out
Was it a
cards.
church?
It was at a church.
Old
Churches.
churches. Beautiful old
I thought
churches.
it went back to 1797.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Beautiful church.
church. and we handed out cards, and they saw our buttons, and we just told everybody. And the young man at the farmer's market said his grandfather was a witness, but he's been dead a long time. But anyway, anybody we get an opportunity to see, they see our buttons, we give them a card. So we went to the farmer's market. Then we were going to go to a woodsman field day, but we changed our mind because it was so difficult to get in. Instead, we went to a firematics, and it was so interesting. There were all these firemen from all over, and they came up to the local fire department because they've got like a big arena,
field
with a stadium. Yeah, and they do all these.
They do these very, very demanding maneuvers with their vehicle, not a fire truck, but with high performance trucks and men with a ladder where they'll race up to a certain point, slam on the brakes, jump out with the ladder, throw it up against a structure, and climb up it.
And how many feet would you say they climbed?
Oh, it must be 20 feet.
Yeah, at least 20 feet. And it was so interesting.
Oh, it was.
And it was a timed thing.
Oh,
they had to see how fast they can do it. And some of them got disqualified.
Yeah.
And some of them, this is something that they practice. They have practiced twice a week.
Yeah.
Their families come with them. There was like thousands of people
very,
there.
Very
It was well supported.
And I couldn't help but feel that these are people that are willing to go into your house and rescue your family.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of respect for that.
Yeah. And incidentally, the fire department that it was at is across the street from the Kingdom Hall.
Yes.
So we got to talk to one of the local firemen, and he was telling us all about the event, and then we told him what our buttons meant. And we always tell people, the people in it are nice people. We do not find fault with the people. It's the organization. They're hiding child sexual abuse. And he's a teacher, the fireman we were talking to, and he knew a witness teacher. We said, "Oh, do you know so-and-so?" And he said, "Yes, he did." So maybe it'll get back to him that, hey, we met Joe and Fran Garino because we gave him no, we didn't give him our card.
No.
That's right, but we gave him our business card. Yep. Yeah. And
do we have his name?
Yes. We have his name.
Good.
So anyway, we'll continue making connection with him. But that's what we did on our Saturday.
Yeah.
We always find something to do interesting.
Yeah.
How about you? What do you do on your Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings? Sometimes we'll just get in the car and say, okay, where do we go now?
Maybe you just sleep in longer.
Yeah. Maybe you watch cartoons on Saturday morning. Is anyone out there? We'd love to hear from you. Don't be shy.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, hello.
Hey, it's me, Smurf Girl.
Oh, hi, Smurf Girl.
I just called 6 minutes ago or so I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I just wanted to say hi.
Well, hello.
I've known you for a while.
Smurf Girl, I have to say, I frequently think about you and wonder how you're doing.
Oh man, I've been through the absolute ringer.
Oh, dear.
Like, I don't even know where to begin, to be honest. Like, my family just fell apart. Like, after my Uncle Brent, snapped.
That was horrible.
Yeah, we were following that.
That was terrible.
Yeah. And, like, there was a bunch of Jehovah's Witnesses fighting. Like, the family they all turned on each other. Like, even the witness family members aren't even talking to each other because they all got to fight,
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was just psychotic. And then I was calling Bethel a lot, like, like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to hide who I am. I'm going to tell Bethel. I would call and I would always give a fake name. I'd go by Veronica, and then finally it's like, you know what? Now things have they've gotten to a head where I'm going to call up and tell them exactly who I am, and this is what's going on, and there's going to be a death penalty trial, and they need to listen, because this is really, like, the Kingdom Hall that even my uncles are from has been arsoned at least twice.
Wow.
Shoot.
And then there was an arson here in Tucson, because I'm in Tucson. The Kingdom Hall that my dad was going to, that just got arsoned like a month and a half ago. Again, that's been arsoned at least twice. And then that, in Germany, when they had that, where somebody took a gun and was shooting at the Kingdom Hall, and like that mass shooting, like, they're going completely berserk. And now Toni Morris has gotten removed from the governing body. And it's like, who knows what Watchtower did? Where in the world did he go?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
now he's disappeared, and I don't know. It just seems strange.
right. Well, it is very strange. But I mean, you are, I know you're stabilizing your life because you have a family that you're taking care of.
Yeah. Well, it
Right.
got so bad. Like, I don't even want to, like, I haven't even been able to make a video, but it got so bad that on January 5th, from January 5th to June 6th, so 6 months and 1 day, I was in jail. And I don't even know. It's hard to explain. I don't even want to admit it to people, but spending 6 months in jail for this whole stupid thing, and it got so dangerous that I don't even know. I was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon, but I had a nervous breakdown.
Uh,
And I was going all nuts, and then I fought it, and I took a plea bargain, and I'm on probation now for a year, but the judge, he understood, and he was lenient on me. So, I mean, I don't even know. Like,
do you have the kind of support that you need locally?
no, not really. A little bit. There are a couple ex-witnesses that I hang out with, but and then while I was in jail, fighting all of it and dealing with everything that happened, then my townhouse that I was staying in got broken into, and they took my iPad and my laptop that had all of my secret recordings on it, like all the things that I'd recorded my family on and stuff. Thankfully, they didn't get my phone, which was where I had most of it, but that's why I haven't been around for like the last year and a half. There's a lot going on. Like, if you search Tucson, Arizona, and Kingdom Hall arson,
Wow.
the Flowing Wells Kingdom Hall on Wetmore and Romero, that's the one that got arsoned like a month and a half ago.
Wow.
Wow.
And yeah, there's like the majority of Kingdom Halls here are pretty much closed. Like, they don't even go out and service anymore, and they don't preach in the prison system anymore. Like, I think pretty much that the witnesses are kind of like, they're just stragglers at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they are kind of falling apart.
Mm-hmm. But now I've got 2 uncles doing life in prison, so I'm hoping that eventually my Uncle Brent, when he realizes why he snapped and why he went psycho, and he has a realization, that maybe he'll talk. and the former Bethelite and former pioneer and all of that. And maybe I think that could have a major difference. But then I've got my Uncle Morris Hanson. He's doing life for when he got caught doing the 3 neighborhood boys under the age of 12. And he is an apostate now. He knows why he became a pedophile. And he would talk to my grandma all the time. You don't understand the reason why I'm doing life. It's because I was raised a Jehovah's Witness and everything. And he would try and tell her about Charles Taze Russell and Rutherford, and that's why he did that to all these kids and all of this stuff. So I want to talk to him, because to have someone who is, doing life to being a pedophile, and he's fully aware of how he became that way, and he's not afraid to talk about it, I think that would be interesting. But the Lifetime channel reached out to me. They have this new series that they're wanting to do. They didn't tell me what the name of it is, but they were wanting to cover what's all happened. And so I did a deal with them. So,
Wow.
I don't know what they're going to do. So that's interesting. But.
Right.
Smurf Girl, can you do us a favor? Our number is on the screen. If you can take that down and call us sometime. We're in central New York. So if you're out in Arizona, out west, you're a couple hours different.
Yeah.
But can you take that number down and call us sometime? We'd love to talk with you.
Okay, yeah, well, I don't see it. I'm just on the phone.
Okay. All right, I can give it to you. Let me know when you're ready.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me get a piece of paper.
Yeah, and we're open to whoever else wants to give a call. You can give a call.
Yeah.
Again, we're in New York, so we're Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, let me know when you're ready.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, area code 315 221
Okay.
0130.
0130. Okay. 315-10130. Okay.
Yes, 221. The middle number 221. Yeah.
With my little cousin Ty, who my Uncle Brent made him watch when he used the baseball bat and machete on my uncle 9 months pregnant aunt. He did that on purpose, and then now my Aunt Jessica's sister and her husband, they're both Jehovah's Witnesses too, and they got custody of him. And the second video I made about everything, I had made a comment, she didn't like it, and she doesn't want me to be a part of his life. And they moved from New York, being New York Jehovah's Witnesses, to California to hide, because all the New York Jehovah's Witnesses were knowing what was going on, and so that they could take him, and now they're waiting. And she texted me and she goes, I don't want Ty to know that he was molested. Just don't because she then found out about my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And as a Jehovah's Witness, she's telling me, I don't want Ty to know he was molested. Just don't tell him he was molested. It's like, why are you going to hide the molestation that Brent did? You're not going to hide the murders of his mom and dad and little sister from him, but you want to hide that he was molested. And then they moved from New York to some congregation in California. And I'm trying to find out, I called CPS. I'm like, these Jehovah's Witnesses in this cult that caused homicide to happen, and 2 uncles being Jehovah's Witnesses doing life in prison now. who were influenced by my father being a substitute circuit overseer and what in the world's going on. And
There's
it's determined, you know. So now I don't know more, and I don't know where he is. And so if anybody's in California, circuit overseer, and what's going on.
Wow. Smurf.
Back with myself.
There's so much on your plate now, and you're going to just work on it, starting from yourself out. And there's no way that they're going to hide all that from the little guy. It just, it's not. He'll need some good professional type of help. And you give us a call when you can, okay?
Thanks.
Okay, good talking with you, smart girl.
Call us when it's good for you.
Yeah. So who is this? Is the phone number for who? For you guys?
This is yep. This is Joe and Fran.
Okay.
Joe and Fran.
Yeah, that's Fran's phone. She's nicer to talk to than me.
Oh, I don't think so. Either one of us. Thanks. Thank you, Smurf girl.
Yes, we're thinking of you.
Smurf girl, I had a question.
Sure, go ahead.
I remember now, was it the mid 1980s when the story came out of the Smurf running down the middle of the aisle in the Kingdom Hall?
Yeah, it was around like 1982.
Okay, I was about 8 to 10 years old, so I was about 8 years old in 82. I remember hearing him. My mom told me about it, and it was a big uproar. And they tried to quell it, like, come on now, come on. But I remember the congregation said, do not buy any Smurfs, like toys for your children. They down.
Yeah. Well, the reason why that happened, that started from the Ortonville, Minnesota Kingdom Hall. And when that happened, that was a desperate cry for help of like, hey, you know, as being raised a Jehovah's Witness kid, you blamed things on the demons, you know? Like it was just a stunt.
Well, we're obsessed and panicked by them. And I've been out of the congregation 30 years. I'm still worried about them. It's ingrained in me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was because I was so scared of my Uncle Brent and my Uncle Clyde that was the only way, like, hey, if there's some kind of, you know, demonized stunt of a Smurf walking down the aisle of Kingdom Hall, maybe the president of Washington at the time, Freddie Franz, will pay attention to it. And maybe a circuit overseer or someone will come to the congregation and see what the hell's going on. You know, let's make a big giant scene. And instead of the paying attention that there was abuse going on, and you know, they instead ran with it and caused everybody, you know, the stupid rumor, which the rumor was just for attention. Like it was just absolutely for attention. Like, no, there's things walking down the aisle of Kingdom Hall, like stuffed animals, and it's a nightmare, and you need someone in Washington.
What?
Yeah, and it was just a rumor, but you know, now it's ended up where finally the people at the basis of it have finally now left Bethel and committed homicide. And it's like, okay, now the puzzle pieces are starting to fit together, but you know, now I've got cousins that are still in custody of these monsters, and they're watching my channel, like the family knows about it now. And it's like, you know, I know what happened to me, and it's, you know, obviously the same thing is happening now to my little cousin, him having to watch and being in the house with dead bodies and, you know, being molested, and they're trying to hide it, and they're running, you know, moving from New York to California. Like, it's really dangerous.
I grew up in a congregation in Manchester, New Hampshire, which is a lot of Greek families, and my congregation was 50+% anointed. But these were people that in the 80s that were 80 years old. They became witnesses.
Oh yeah, like all the
1920s.
140.
Yeah, they became witnesses like in the early 20s, 1930s. So a lot of them were anointed. And I remember about, like you said, about 82, walking up an aisle and looking right at the anointed person who brought my father into the truth. And he gave me the most evil look. I'm a kid. I never did nothing wrong. I'll never remember the look on his face. And they were hardcore back then. They told my father in 1974, he goes, I want you to go home and study the truth book, the chapter. And he didn't study it, and he went back and he goes, we're done. They were a one-time deal. I asked you to do it, you didn't do it, we're done. And that's we're not studying. But he eventually did anyway. He put them on to somebody else. But they were really hardcore when it came to studying. They didn't play around. But I want to mention something. I want to mention something to you. In 1982, when the Live Forever book came out, you remember the picture of the man sitting in the waterfall?
Yeah, with the women in the water.
If you turn the page upside down, as a child I did that, upside down on the right, there's actually, you remember the old watchtower where they had the wings on the book? The serpent wings?
Yeah.
There's actually a picture of a demon holding a ball with wings coming out from his hands. I saw that spirit that year in my kitchen. Something told me to go downstairs and I looked right at it. It looked right at me and booked it in the other room and took off. And my mom wondered why I slept in the corner of the living room all night. I saw that spirit that was, not because I saw it in the book. I saw it in the book after, and I put a connection to it. But I thought that was the weirdest thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah, well, one thing like that when you mentioned about all of those anointed ones, from the 14 generations and stuff.
It was like family.
What they were
like people in a family, is like 4 of them.
Wow. Yeah, it was like whole entire families. Everyone was of the anointed back then. But what they were thinking of what they were expecting, they had like that countdown card that they were marking off the days for when they were all going to be taken to heaven all at once in 1914. They were, it was like the very first Jonestown kind of situation. They were all wanting to die. That's what they were hoping for. They were hoping not to. I mean, then that's psychotic. That's why they have this death wish,
An elderly woman who was anointed. I went to see her about maybe 2 weeks before she died. And she was lying in bed. She looked like she was dead. And I was just visiting her as a friend. And she leaped out of the bed, right up on her butt, and yelled Jehovah's name so loud. And then lied back down, went back to bed.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Jehovah! And went back to bed.
Crazy. I just wish the whole world would understand like the Jonestown situation that Joe's witnesses are going through, of just how psychotic like the hospital liaison committees are.
Yeah.
Of, if they understood, because, Michael Brent, he was, before he went to Bethel, he would go with my dad on the hospital liaison committee, and he used to sit at their bedside and convince them to refuse the blood transfusion.
Oh,
and and the reason why he went there, like, oh, Brother Hanson, you're so good, you're so sweet, and he liked to see the light go out of their eyes, and it helped him so that he didn't commit homicide, that he could at least see people die. It made him feel better, knowing he was the reason behind it. Like, nobody knows the Jehovah's Witnesses like heart condition of why they want another person to do that. Like if you're a maniac and you like to see people go through that, you know, it's scary. And I wish Jehovah's Witnesses knew, like, you know, like if someone's heart condition is bad, like if you think about like Freddie Franz of why he came up with blood transfusions and organ transplants or cannibalism, like what if he did that because he hated them? It's like, oh, I hate Jehovah's Witnesses, and
Switched so much
what?
times, like he couldn't make up his mind. I mean, what I'm saying is, quote unquote, God can't make up his mind half the time in the Watchtower. I thought, you know, the Bible, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't change. You don't add or take away from it, and God's word lasts forever. He doesn't change his mind every 12 years.
Yeah. Well, and the advice that Watchtower gives, if you take that advice, and if somebody gave you bad advice because they didn't like you, like, oh, you know, if I didn't like somebody, I would say, you know, the better the college, the worse the education. You really shouldn't go to college. You know, you should homeschool your kids. You know, pioneering is a great career. You know, you give someone bad advice, like, oh, if you need a blood transfusion, you better not get one. Like, I even think about it with my Jehovah's Witness father. I hope after how he made my mom die because of the no blood transfusion policy and my grandmother, I hope that he stays a Jehovah's Witness. And I hope he never, ever leaves the house without that blood card. And because I can't wait to hear that he needed one and that he suffers the same fate he made my mom go through. And that's a hateful thing. And so it's like, what if the president of Watchtower, the governing body, they're doing those things because they hate people? You know, it's like there are several witnesses that I hope that they do abide by that blood policy and die a faithful Jehovah's Witness, because I'm so mad about the abuse I went through. And it's like, do they know that that's how some people feel? Then they'll think twice about doing that. You know, I hope that they do waste their life and go to every meeting, don't miss a meeting, because I know how miserable they are. It's
You know, if I can break in a second about what you're talking about, Smurf Girl. There's a book called Enemies, and Joseph Rutherford wrote that book, Enemies. And what it was referring to is the hatred that Rutherford had for the people that he feels was responsible for imprisoning him. And basically he targeted he targeted so many people after that, and he was just in a mad rage in seeing people around him die for what he had to go through. And so that's the kind of leadership we had.
Well, Smurf Girl, this is Rick Farron. I'm glad to hear you on here tonight, Smurf Girl. Boy, I haven't heard from you for a while, so I'm glad you're always good to hear your voice. Yeah. So
yeah, I've been off the grid.
Yeah, I heard part of your story there. Yeah, but it's good to hear from you. People have been wondering where you've been, but I'm glad to hear you kind of popped up here again. So don't be a stranger now. You come back and see us again, all right?
I will, I promise.
All right. Well,
yeah, I had kind of a life-changing situation go on, but everything's good now.
Well, why don't you, if you hold on 1 second there, sir, Veronica, if you're gonna be on a little later on tonight, we have a program coming up next. Why don't you talk to Eric, and if you have time, you can share your story and what's been going on, give a little more insight into it. People would love to hear it.
Okay.
If you're up to it, so Eric will be coming up here next. This program is just about over now, so you can come out with Eric, and he'll be glad to talk to you. He's got a program called Red Pilled after the Watchtower, but beginning next week. Now, you hosted the program Watchtower After Dark, but beginning next week, we're going to start the name of that program up again. We've got a whole new cast coming on. So, but you're the one that started it. We appreciate
Yeah.
that. Yep,
Yeah, that's my baby.
that's your baby.
You
Well,
better do it good because I came up with the name.
I know you did. Well, maybe we can get you on there.
Copyrighted it.
Maybe we can get you on there as a guest. Maybe we can get you on there as a guest.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, because what it is, it's going to be a late night entertainment program. And, you know, Saturday night, people want to relax a little bit. So we have a possibility of another that's the program. We're going to make an announcement when this program's over about what's happening next week. So looking forward to it. But maybe we can get you a guest. Stay in touch with me. I'm going to call you this week, okay? Your number's still in place?
Okay.
Because I called once or twice, but I couldn't get through. But it's in place now. Okay, good. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead, New
Yeah.
Hampshire. Do you want to say something to Smurf Girl before she leaves?
Something real quick. I was at the Chinese restaurant last Sunday, and I overheard the couple next to me, the three of them. They ended up being witnesses, and I sat with them. I told them I was disfellowshipped, and he goes, "It's a lot easier to get in now." And I'm thinking to myself, "Wow, you're really desperate." But the one thing I said to him was, "You don't take blood transfusions, but did you know that milk is white blood cells, and you drink that?" He absolutely shut up and left.
That's funny. That's a riot.
What Watchtower says, and they have no basis to why or, you know,
Oh, dear.
it's just.
I heard that from
But you know what I was thinking? I was thinking this the other day.
Yeah.
If you didn't change a single section of Watchtower, but instead you changed the men who said those things, like if instead of Freddie Franz, you had someone like Charles Manson saying those things, or Jim Jones saying those things, and he was the one in charge, or Hitler, and they were spewing those words that are in Watchtower teachings, it would take on a whole new meaning. It'd be like, oh my gosh, you know, how absolutely psycho.
Never thought of that. Huh.
Yeah, like if you heard Hitler spewing out what Rutherford said, or what Nathan Norton, or even Jim Jones, like if Jones was like, oh, weird about blood transfusions and stupid, it'd be like, oh, they're just psychotic. But you know, I don't know.
Wow,
It takes
good
on a
point.
whole new meaning.
Yeah, it does.
Thank
Wow. Well, thank you so much. There you go.
Under the guise of a religion.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well, Joe and Fran, I guess we can kind of wrap it on up, and we'll get Eric on there coming on with his red pill from the Watchtower. So take a couple of minutes and let the audience know what's going on.
okay. Thank you, Rick. Thanks, Smurf Girl. Yeah, thank you for all your comments, everyone. And I will continue to just encourage everyone to keep doing the research. The research you need to do is the research that will answer your question. And you have the questions, and they're the most important questions you could have. The information's out there, and you'll feel so good when you find out the information that you need. It will help you tremendously. And we did say, too, that we would let you know what that favorite food of Nebraska is. And the favorite food of Nebraska is what, Fran?
Runza. A runza, R-U-N-Z-A. It's a bun.
Maybe they can do their own research.
Okay, look up runza. U-N-Z-A.
Do your own
Runza.
research on that if you're interested.
Yeah, and it's only in Nebraska.
Yeah.
And we had them, and then I came home, I found the recipe,
Yeah.
and I made them.
Yeah.
So maybe we can make some apostate
Yeah,
runzas.
yeah. We'll have a meet up here sometime, and we'll make runzas for everybody.
Apostate runzas. Nice to hear, everyone. Thank
Thank
you
you all.
for making connections.
Thank
and
you. And do call us
Yeah.
if you need to connect or want to connect
Yeah,
with someone.
please do call, text, email. Love you all.
Love you all.
Good night.
Well, thank you very much, Fran and Joe, for coming on tonight with the outside story. Well, don't you guys leave us now. We've got more programming coming up next right here on the Six Screens Telenetwork. We have Eric coming in from Nashville, Tennessee, Red Pill by the Watchtower. Stay with us. We're going to end this broadcast, so hang in. We'll be right back on our YouTube channel as well as a number of Facebook channels. So don't go anywhere. Listen to Eric tonight. He's got some really good things he's going to be talking to you about. Thank you very much. So we're going to end this broadcast.